is moving east at 50 miles per hour.
Yeah.
There's Crocker, the lowest level of your home as you travel towards Highway 69 and Interstate 35. We'll try to put a track on this, even though it's a little bit disjointed on radar. We'll switch over to the conventional radar mode and show you the forward speed at, you said 50 miles per hour, Trey?
50 miles per hour to the east.
So 50 miles per hour to the east. That takes it out of the warning area, actually, as you follow along with me. Here's the list of arrival times. Crocker's there right now, Elkhart in 10 minutes, Loring in 16 minutes. It's quickly moving to the east, not as fast as that main line of thunderstorms moving into the metro. We've been saying the tornado warning sirens have been going off because of the wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. But in this case, this is a very different situation because there is a tornado warning that is up. Included in that is Polk City, Crocker, and out towards Elkhart, just north of Ankeny. So the north side of Ankeny, the town is not officially under the tornado warning, but just to the north on Highway 69, that is where we're seeing some of that. Any reports that you're getting in right now?
Not yet, but
Trey?
there's also another tornado warning up northeast in Humboldt County as well.
Humboldt County, another tornado warning that has been issued, and we see it right here.
Yeah.
Can you give me some stats on that, Trey?
This warning will be in effect until 6:45 p.m. and it's moving northeast at 55 miles per hour.
Northeast at 55 miles per hour. So there's that storm. It's moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Put a track right there. There we go at 55. List of arrival times. It takes it pretty much out of our area, but I still want you to take this seriously. This is just east of Pocahontas as it continues to lift to the northeast, out of our area. But you see the warning right here on your screen, quickly moving northeast as well. We'll switch over to the velocity product and see if we're seeing some rotation. We are just southwest of Corwith. And then into Britt, you can see it there, and west of Drew, all under this tornado warning, with a big uptick in lightning that we've seen as well. Our rotation product indicating not significant rotation at the moment, but we are seeing at least some rotation. So I do want to go down to the storm that is affecting areas north of the metro, including just north of Ankeny. There's that newly issued tornado warning that does include Polk City, but at this point, the worst of the weather is now east of Polk City, and it's heading towards Highway 69 and then Interstate 35 and eventually into Elkhart. You see it there as it moves east. Now, let's see if we're getting a better indication of rotation. Still very hard to see.
Something going on northwest of Ames. You see that?
Alaman, yep, right there.
Yeah.
So that's outside of the warning, isn't it? But that is a strong wind signature that we're seeing if, in fact, it is reaching the ground. Trey, are you
I'm
hearing
looking
or seeing
at a
anything?
correlation coefficient. I don't see any debris signature, but definitely some significant wind, and that area needs to be monitored closely.
Absolutely. And yeah, you can see it there, just south of Slater. That's another area of rotation that we're watching closely. We'll take you in a little bit tighter so we can see this area. Again, west of Highway 69. This is not officially in the tornado warning. This is just outside, but right around 142nd Avenue. That is where we have some of that tight rotation just north of Polk City Junction. So north side of town there, that is where we have that rotation. We'll switch over and look at the wind speeds, and they have a very tight spin up right there, right along 142nd Avenue, north of Polk City Junction. So the north side of town there as that moves off to the north and east. This is a pretty significant signature that we're seeing. And even if it's not a tornado, we still have the possibility of damaging winds right at the core there. 86 mile per hour winds, not very far from the radar site, not very far from the radar site at all. So it certainly is possible. And then there's the newest scan. I lost a little bit of the rotation, but still seeing those very strong wind gusts, perhaps even higher now. So be prepared for that. So yes, the tornado warning is not including Polk City Junction. It's north of there, but we are concerned for that area as well. But Crocker, you're officially under that tornado warning as that storm continues to the move to the east. Trey, are you looking at anything as well? I mean, there's that.
I'm still looking at.
There's the Crocker storm just.
There's another circulation forming along Highway 210 just west of Slater as well. It's not as strong as that other one you were looking at, but it is present.
Okay. And then you can see just south of Huxley, east of Madrid, Those are two areas that I'm concerned about as well. And it appears they just issued that severe thunderstorm watch a little bit farther to the east. So Marshalltown, it appears you're under that watch now. And then there's that tornado-warned storm that's south and east of Algona in the northern part of Humboldt County that's moving off to the north and east. But the two areas that we're watching, including the main squall line that's moving into the metro with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. The tornado sirens have been going off into Polk, into Dallas counties, and into portions of Madison County for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And I don't want to forget about the metro because these are some strong winds that are still moving in with that line of thunderstorms near Johnston, and that's continuing to march off to the east. So the metro, the tornado sirens that you're hearing right now, they're warning you of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that is the case throughout parts of Polk County. But the northern part of the county, that's where we start to see that tornado warning that is in effect. A messy signature, but the worst of the rotation is actually just outside of the warning area near Huxley. So if you are in Huxley, I want you in the lowest level of your home. Same thing in Cambridge. This is a strong wind core, even if it isn't a tornado. This is some of the strongest wind velocities that we've seen on radar. Southeast of Slater, just south of Huxley, and then moving up through Cambridge. We'll play this out and kind of show you this one area, how quickly it is moving. It's moving northeast, so Huxley, between Huxley and Cambridge, you are next in line. Slater, it should be just missing you to the east, but we are seeing that rotation. Trey, are you still seeing that in some of the products you're looking at?
Yeah, I'm still seeing that area of rotation just to the south of Slater at this time. Still a very strong straight line wind signature. We're getting ready to push over to I-35. I know there's a truck stop out in that general area as well, just north of I-35 near the Polk-Story County line. So folks in that area, you'll want to be taking cover immediately.
I look at that near Kelly as well, southwest of Kelly, north side of Slater. We're seeing an area of rotation. Let's see if we're seeing any debris signatures with these as they move through. Look at that, we may be seeing debris with this. See that right there, a correlation coefficient drop just southwest of Huxley, right there, right along Highway 210. Highway 210, so Huxley, lowest level of your home right now, and possibly to Slater. Let's see if the velocities match up. It certainly does for the storm right over Huxley, the southwest side of Huxley. So that certainly is a concerning trend that we're seeing. So I'm going to circle this area. We'll look at all of our radar products to see if, in fact, we are seeing everything line up. So there's the velocity core. There's that debris signature, perhaps. And then as we look at our rotation product, we have the strongest rotation just off to the east. But as Trey mentioned, there are numerous areas that are beginning to spin up along this line. But the tornado warning is just south of Huxley officially and includes Elkhart as it moves off to the north and east. Any more on that northern storm, Trey, that you're watching?
I have not heard anything else with that northern storm, but there's another little circulation forming southwest of Kelly. Okay. It's going to be one of these little brief spin-up tornadoes there, so I'll definitely be mindful of that if you're in Kelly. And checking the warning there up north, haven't heard anything out of that one yet.
So you're saying Kelly?
Yes.
Right about here. There's Slater, there's the northwest side of Slater, and then there's Kelly right there. So we do have that area of rotation. We'll see if there's a debris signature with that. Not as strong as the one we had recently near Huxley. We're watching that too. That is a pretty potent, strong area of circulation that has popped up. Again, this is just southwest of Kelly. And again, this was a storm that was near Slater as well. Let's see here. We'll switch over to velocity. Still some strong winds. Any updates on that? Let me see what the National Weather Service is saying. Okay, so there is a funnel cloud near Saylorville Lake. Funnel cloud there. The Polk City rotation, they said, did, in fact, weaken, but they are watching other areas of rotation that are part of that same system, again, near Huxley and Slater as it moves off to the north and east. But there's the new updated tornado warning that you see as it continues to move to the east. Any forward speed on that, Trey? Are we seeing any other areas of
it's moving east at 45 miles per hour. Leading edge is now on I-35 north of Ankeny, moving toward Elkhart.
Okay. And then there's Huxley right there, but there's another area of rotation just west and northwest of Huxley that's showing up. and that has actually tightened up a little bit too. This is just southwest of Ames. There you see it right there. There's, again, southwest side of Ames. We're starting to see this area of rotation right along 270th Street. There's Highway 69 right there, and there's Kelly. So that is a concerning sign that this tightened up a little bit. I don't know if this is was a debris signature. Let's play this out. I know it's a little bit messy. We're actually seeing another area to the north and west as well. Whenever you have these lines of thunderstorms, these squall lines that have embedded supercells or embedded areas of rotation, they're not like your classic supercells that you can track, and they're not going to be putting down a tornado that stays on the ground for 15, 20, 30 minutes. These are brief, potentially strong spin-ups. Now, with the forward speed of this line, it's concerning, because when you have that directional shear, that spinning motion, essentially, you can kind of add on that forward speed, and that can kind of exacerbate a spin-up along the way. So we are concerned about that. But there are numerous areas on this line now just east of Huxley. So Huxley, all clear there.
We've got a new tornado warning for Boone and Story counties now.
So that is probably for the Huxley storm,
For the
right?
Huxley circulation, yes.
Okay, there it is. Okay, and what is the forward? That is a messy looking appearance on radar. What's forward speed on that, Trey?
Let me get the warning text up here. It's moving northeast at 45 miles per hour.
So it's slowed a little bit. But Ames, you are officially under that warning. We gave you the heads up a little while ago before the warning was officially issued. There you see the Shady Grove Mobile Home Park. Get to your community shelter immediately into Ames. It's on your doorstep. Shipley into Nevada as it continues to lift north and east. This is a dangerous line of storms, and there are numerous areas that have been spinning up, not just with this storm, but other segments of this storm system. But this is the area near Kelly, north side of Kelly, along 520th Avenue and 270th Street. That is where the strongest area of rotation currently is located, just to the southwest side of Ames. So hopefully this rotation begins to fall apart as it moves to the north and east. Let's see if we're seeing any debris. Thankfully, we're not seeing any debris signatures on radar, but we still have that strong area of rotation north of Kelly that is lifting to the north and east.
This is going to be coming up very close to the Ames Municipal Airport, so folks around that area and then on the south side of ISU need to be taking cover.
Let's just track that area. You said forward speed, I'm sorry, Trey.
45 miles per hour to the northeast.
45 miles per hour. List of arrival times here. Just be proactive. If you have 10 minutes, get inside now. Yes, it isn't your classic supercell, and oftentimes these areas of rotation ebb and flow a little bit, but this isn't one of those cases. This has actually been holding together for the last couple of radar scans. So there's always an exception, right, to the rule. Let me see here. But that tornado warning is up until 7 p.m., so another 20 minutes on this. Thankfully, it isn't as strong. That area of rotation, you just saw that latest scan. We'll play that out as it moves up towards Ames. You see it fading a little bit. Hopefully, again, that is a trend. Now, I mean, you go to school at Iowa State. Trey, what are you thinking?
This is now going to be just to the west of Duff Avenue at this time. And it looks like right now the center of that circulation from where you're zooming in is going to be right along University Boulevard there. So near that mobile home park, you've got South 16th Street that runs up in that area as well. Aspen Business Park, North Grand Avenue. I know they just completed the North Grand project there, and this will be crossing over Iowa Creek here very shortly. So South 4th Street up towards South Duff Avenue. This is going to be coming up towards Central Ames at this time, so take cover if you're in those areas.
And you can see the Orchard Mobile Home Park right now. There are 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, even if you're not seeing a tornado. But this is the area of rotation. These are very strong winds. And then you have the forward speed of this system that's moving at approximately 55 miles per hour, 40 to 55 miles per hour in that range as it moves through. So this is very concerning. The next mobile home park, Meadow Lane Mobile Home Park, would be the next area. And there's Airport Road. There's South Duff Avenue. This is the south side of Ames that we're watching, with some strong rotation that's on the western side. You see there's the old Orchard Mobile Home Park, but there's the area of rotation, that area of red that I'm concerned about. That's where that rotation sorry, let me grab that. That is where we have the strongest rotation. So when you see that purple color that pops out at you, that is where the rotation is the strongest. Any other reports, Trey, that you're seeing?
I have not heard of anything yet. I'm going through TweetDeck to see if something happens in that area. We'll definitely know if something is going on for sure.
It appears even to the southwest side, you're seeing some of these wind cores that are going along. I just want to make sure over towards Shipley. Okay, so those are just false readings that we're getting, but up as it heads up towards Shipley, the strongest rotation appears to be to your west. But we have a couple of these areas you see right along to the west of Interstate 35, just south of Ames, and then that strong area of rotation that's moving on the south side of the city of Ames that's continuing to move to the north and east. So I'll circle them. So the warning is pretty large, but there's one area I'm concerned about, another area just west of Interstate 35, and then perhaps you can make an argument just to the east of Interstate 35. Those are the three areas that I'm watching, and if you switch this over to the velocity or the rotation product, we are seeing some rotation, in fact, with these areas. It looks like, did they do anything else with that southern warning?
They've trimmed that warning back just a little bit more. It still includes areas along I-35 northeast of Ankeny, but the rotation signature has gone down with that near Elkhart. So it's looking more like straight line winds in that general area, but with this type of setup, I mean, you could easily get another QLCS spin up on the southern end of that. So watch out on the southeast side of Elkhart, just southeast of there. You could get a quick spin up tornado once again. And then I also, we got the Marshalltown camera pulled up now. We're going to be watching that closely as those storms move off to the east. I know this says West Des Moines behind me, but we're also watching this Marshalltown camera very closely because those storms will be moving in that general area.
And then, Trey, the other storm, Nevada. So Ames, that rotation area is right over the city of Ames, but then Nevada, you are next in line. It didn't appear that there were any areas of rotation, but now you can kind of make an argument that it's starting to tighten up a little bit. We'll switch over to our debris tracker, too, and try to check in on this line. There was, near Huxley earlier, some debris or potential debris, but thankfully into Ames we're not seeing that currently. And then on the western or the eastern flank of that, yes, we look at the blue on our correlation coefficient on our debris tracker, but it's because you're not in the meat of that storm yet. It's just off to your south and west in Nevada. That could still be a strong push of wind that's moving off to the north and east. We'll watch that closely, but you can kind of see it right there. 71 mile per hour wind gust. So if you live in Nevada, take this storm seriously. You are officially under the tornado warning. Lowest level of your home, keep as many walls between you and the outside as possible. But there it is in Nevada, just east of the eastern part of this tornado warning. And then to the western side, right over Ames, we've been watching that area of circulation, but that has started to dissipate significantly in the last couple of minutes. So that is some good news. The rotation is not as strong as it was. It's relatively weak. And then it's fairly weak rotation on that western side of Nevada, but the wind gusts you just saw were very strong, right along Highway 30. Highway 30, as you lift to the north and east, right along Lincoln Highway 2, that is an area that could see some damaging wind gusts, even if there isn't a tornado on the ground. We did see a report earlier of a funnel cloud. Again, that was as that storm passed over the National Weather Service near Saylorville Lake. But in this case, we're not seeing any reports or hearing any reports. The good news on that southern warning, that's continuing to lift to the north and east. We are seeing that storm exit the warning, and I don't think that they'll continue that warning anymore because, as Trey mentioned as well, there isn't as much rotation with this storm as it continues out into the east. This is north of Bondurant and east of Elkhart now. That storm system, that warning will likely be dropped, but we are still watching several areas in that northern warning between Ames and Nevada that we're watching closely that could still spin up along that line. But these are some strong winds, even if you're not seeing a tornado on the ground. Those are some strong winds that we are concerned about, moving through Shipley up into Nevada. And then now it's the east side of Ames that we're concerned about that may see some damaging wind gusts. Anything else, Trey?
Nothing of too concerning at this time. Did get a text. Someone texted me a picture of what looks to be kind of a raggedy-looking wall cloud at the Maple Willow Large Dorms at Iowa State. I don't know what direction they were looking at, But there was a little bit of a raggedy-looking wall cloud in that area, which is sometimes a precursor to tornado development, definitely an indication of a strong updraft and strong rotation.
Absolutely. Thank you, Trey. As we look at this entire line, you can see on the southern side, this is actually heading back up towards the metro area. This appears to be a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. You look to the north and west or the southwest of town, you see this near Creston. We want to forget, we don't want to forget you into Creston and up through Winterset. This is a pretty strong storm as it moves through. I do want to see if, let's see the forward speed on that. Ames just had a wind gust to 60 miles per hour, so 60 mile per hour wind gust in Ames. So that is with that storm. That was the tornado warned storm earlier. But now we're starting to see an area of rotation pick up again near Nevada. I do want to go back up to the storm, but I'm trying to see the storm that's heading towards Creston and then eventually up through Winterset is moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So this storm moving northeast at 60 miles per hour, we'll put a quick track on it because this was just issued. Quick forward speed, 65 miles per hour, list of arrival times right here to Diagonal, into Creston, into Spalding. 60 mile per hour wind gusts, not the intensity of the storms that moved through the metro earlier, but I do want to come right back to that storm that's moving towards Nevada because we just saw kind of an uptick in a little bit of a spin there. So there is the Elkhart storm. That warning was allowed to expire, but on the west side of Nevada, there's that area of rotation right in here that I'm concerned about. So the west side of Nevada. And we'll switch over to see if we have rotation, not the strongest rotation, but certainly an area that we're watching closely. And thankfully, there's no debris signature that we're seeing northwest side of Nevada, but those are some strong winds. Even if you're not seeing a tornado out of this, these are wind gusts that are going 65 to 70 miles per hour in some cases on the west side of Nevada. Maybe the downtown missing the worst of it. It's focused to the western side of town, but that's again lifting to the north and east. So any other reports, Trey?
Not yet. Just that 60 mile per hour wind gust you were talking about earlier. The circulation right now, it has toned down quite a bit, not as intense as what we were looking at earlier, but it is moving now north and east of the city of Ames at this time, moving up toward the Story County Conservation Center. So for locals that are familiar with that area, just to the west of 35, that's where the circulation is at this time.
Right, okay. And this northern line is a damaging wind threat, but it appears as it continues to march off to the east, heading towards Iowa Falls and into Marshalltown, it's starting to lose a lot of its oomph. So that is some good news. But this is still a very strong storm that's moving to the north and east towards Highway 65. You see it moving to the northeast. We'll see the latest scan, see if we're seeing any more rotation tightening along with that. We're not, so that is some good news. We'll check the velocities and see the wind speeds. You still have that area of stronger winds on the west side of Nevada, right along 190th Street, 200th Street, near Fernald to the west side there, as it continues to move to the north and east. Again, strong winds with this as it moves to the west side of Nevada. 72 mile per hour wind gusts are possible with this storm as it moves through. So just again, now it's to the north side of Nevada, moving just south of Roland as it continues to move up towards Zeering. Zeering not under the tornado warning. And if we luck out, I think that the worst of the circulation, the worst of this warning is starting to wane it a little bit, which would, again, lead me to believe they will allow this warning to expire for portions of Story County. So that would be some good news. But the warning has kind of shrunk down. Ames, all clear for you. Nevada, all clear for you. That storm continuing to move to the north and east. So that is what we're watching. The rest of them are now severe thunderstorm warnings along this line. There are no active tornado warnings aside from that one storm, that one lone storm into portions of Story County. And these storms that are now near Creston that are moving to the north and east up eventually into Winterset are wind speeds of 60 miles per hour. Are you seeing anything, any other data you're watching, Trey, at all?
I was trying to pull up a traffic camera near US 30 where that circulation crossed earlier to see if that's still up. Still having trouble getting that at the moment. But other than that, there's nothing pressing at the moment that I'm seeing. At this time.
This is certainly starting to weaken, which is some good news. But we want to make sure everyone has That is, underneath this warning. If this were your home, I'm sure you would want updates on this. This is why we repeat what we're saying. But again, this storm is starting to look like it's weakening quite a bit as it moves into northern portions of Story County. Story City, looks like most of that rotation will stay off to your east. Ames and Gilbert, you are all clear. Kelly and Huxley, you are all clear. Same thing in Slater and Madrid. The worst of the weather has passed. So it's just as important to tell people when they're out of the woods as it is when we have a storm bearing down on your community. So you can come out of your safe place in the lowest level of your home. You can now return to your regularly scheduled weekend activities. The worst of the weather again, now west of Interstate 35 is done. So that is certainly some good news. And now that rotation is now passing out of Nevada, so I will give you the all clear. Some strong winds possible near that part of the storm near Maxwell, and that warning has shrunk even more with this latest update. So let me see what this latest update is showing.